So first, the message for women, be confident and go out there and do the thing that you want to do. Don't think that you have to do it in the way that males do it, because we are also unique in the way that we do things. And that's what makes us special. Right? Women, we have like just great intuition, great motherly instincts. And rather than seeing that as a weakness, they say women are emotional, women are this, like I just learned how to use those perceived weaknesses as strengths. Being caring and being motherly is what my staff and clients feel, and they love that. Who doesn't love to be loved by their mother, right? So just to get into my woman, like literally like hone in on our superpowers. Like we have the power to just, imprint the world of business in a way that hasn't been done before by being exactly who we are and what God created to be.
All right, guys, welcome to the Winner Circle podcast. I'm your host, Jay Adewole, and today we have an incredible, inspiring guest who is an example of the power of perseverance and vision. Joining us today is Sheneya Wilson, trailblazer in the world of finance, proud founder of Fola Financial, Fola Edu, Fola Foundation, and FOLAFi Fintech company. So from our roots in the Bronx to the executive suite of major financial institutions, she has dedicated a career to democratizing financial literacy and empowering individuals and businesses to achieve their goals. And she's known as the People's CP. She has made it a mission to uplift our community through education and innovation. So in this episode, we'll dive into a remarkable journey. We're going to discuss groundbreaking work in developing future tax professionals through the IRS-certified tax essential learning program. And also we're going to explore how our fintech company, FOLAFi Inc., is transforming money management for everyday people. Whether you are a creative entrepreneur or small business owner, or simply someone looking to enhance your financial knowledge, this episode is packed with insight and inspiration that you won't want to miss. Now let's welcome Sheneya Wilson to the Winner Circle. Hi Sheneya, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you doing? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's good to have you on the show. I love your smile this morning.
Thank you. You gotta spread the energy. It's rainy here, so we gotta spread the energy through the
Yeah.
internet. So
All right, that's great. So good to have you on the show, and thank you for taking your time to be on the show today. Let's take it all the way back. When you think about growing up in the Bronx, what's your earliest memory of understanding money or realizing what it meant to not to have it?
That's a great question. Some of my earliest memories of being in the Bronx is going to my grandma's house. She literally just passed away a few months ago, but I still have just such clear memories of. Thank you. Myself, I have like 8 cousins, and I just remember like us making the best of moments that we didn't even know really meant that our family just wasn't doing the best financially. Like, so we would stay at my grandma's house, and it'll be like 8 of us in one room with 2 twin size mattresses. And every night that we stayed over there, we just had to figure it out. Like, we had to figure out who was going to sleep on the floor tonight, who's going to sleep on the bed. Or we used to do like half on the bed and then have your feet hang off the floor. We used to figure it out. But even down to like getting food, it was a matter of, okay, like let's split these plates of Chinese food. Okay, I got $2.50, you got $2.50. Let's get chicken and broccoli. I'll get chicken tenders and French fries. But we were sharing. So again, being young. So this is me at maybe like 7, 8 years old with a bunch of my cousins. For us, we just found joy in making it happen. Now, once your family starts to go through like financial hardships, and you see just how we were forced to share, like it wasn't like, okay, it's doing it just to build relationships between them. It's because it was really hard for them to afford to like buy a plate of Chinese food for each of us individually. It was really hard for them to make sure that we had separate sleeping arrangements over there, because my grandma lived in an apartment. We didn't know what home ownership was. So those are some of my earlier memories of being in the Bronx. And of course, that's just inside of the house, right? Then it's going outside and seeing how much the lack of financial understanding impacted my community. Like I had so many friends that I grew up with that are either dead or in jail, unfortunately. And it's like, I remember playing with them, leaving my grandmother's house. I remember going to school with some of these people. I remember just all those core memories of also like what was going on in their lives and why they chose a life of violence or a life of just making the wrong decisions in terms of their finances. It was because at that moment, growing up in the Bronx in the 90s and the early 2000s, it was just so much struggle. Like, we live in New York, but we come from families that are making minimum wage, hopefully, or below minimum wage, that have a whole bunch of children, and it becomes scarce, right? Especially when now your parents or your grandparents are getting older and you have to be that person to step up and care for them. But what do you do if you are just a recent high school graduate and you don't have no real education to get a great paying job? What do you do when you have 5 siblings and you're the oldest and you have to make sure that they eat and finish at least high school? So just empathizing and putting myself in the shoes of the people that I grew up with, I now understand why they made those decisions. And my whole purpose, I believe, is to make sure that people are presented with other ways out. There's no one going to come and hold your hands to walk you out, but can someone come and show you, here are the options, here's how you can utilize your intelligence in a way that's more productive, legal, and can get you out of your hardship, but also provide a way for the future generations of your family to thrive versus just living in survival mode. So where I come from definitely does power a lot of why I am who I am and why I do what I do. It powers why I speak the way I speak to my audience, because when it comes to finances, it doesn't really look like us. When we think of finance, we think of like white males. Even white women are just making their face known in the area of finance. So for me to come in finance as a Black woman, it means so much to the people who watch Fola grow, because they get realness, they get relatability, they get someone who cares, and they get solutions and a way to change the lives that they never thought that they could change, just by seeing that there's a different way and there's a support system in FOLA to help them achieve what their wildest financial dreams are.
Oh, wow. That's so real. It's often those early experiences that shape how we see value, not just in money, but in ourselves. And that's my take on that. So I was thinking about this. Did you always know finance and accounting were your lane? Or was this something you found your way into through maybe life experience? Or was there a specific moment or someone in your life who inspired you to dive into the world of finance?
It's a great question. So I was always great at math. Always great at math. Like, just can do math with my eyes closed. Like, I just always been gifted in that area. So even when I was like in first grade, I was like helping my teacher teach my class. To the point where, because of my excellent math and English grades, I actually skipped a grade. I went from first grade to third grade. When I got to third grade, they wanted to skip me even to the fifth grade. But my mom was like, "I don't want my baby to be so young, graduating," which is fine, because life ended up turning out what it was supposed to be. But I always had a passion for math. So I had my uncle. He actually is an accountant for a really big restaurant in New York City, and his wife was a doctor, and they just had a great life. Like, and I, again, coming from the Bronx, not seeing what home ownership looks like, what having nice cars look like, I'm like, maybe I should be an accountant, because they living good over here, right? So I started studying accounting when I got into university. But I quickly realized that math specifically wasn't why I was attracted to accounting. And accounting isn't the reason why I'm attracted to like financial literacy. Ultimately, the core of everything is I have a passion for being a problem solver, right? And the way we do that quantitatively is through math and accounting. So this is just my outlets of how I express my capabilities to be a great problem solver. I do it through analyzing numbers. So naturally, as I started to progress in my career, again, working at big four accounting firms, working for regional CPA firms in New York City, I just started to see how much accounting really is the language of business, and how much small business owners don't understand accounting. So it's like, if you don't understand your accounting, you don't really understand what your business is trying to communicate with you. So how are you making effective decisions? So again, me wanting to solve that problem, which is helping small business owners just make better decisions and grow their wealth, is really why I started to focus some more on the accounting as a profession.
That's powerful. And sometimes we don't find our purpose. Our purpose find us, which is great. This is great. But the thing is, I found out that you've broken a lot of ceilings as a young black woman, stepping into an industry that doesn't always make room. Even I, as a consultant, I know how that room is. It's not as easy as it seems. So, what obstacles did you face, and how did you push through those obstacles?
So there's so many obstacles. Like, I mean, I'm just 30 years old and I've been running Fola for 8 years now. So me stepping into entrepreneurship, specifically in the realm of being a CPA, being a black woman, being in finance, wanting to help people build wealth. Again, it's always those barriers of, okay, like, does this woman know what she's talking about? Let's start there. Like, I have 4 degrees in accounting, and people would still, have this guard up in regards to, like, does she know what she's talking about? So that is a barrier that I have to face a lot in the beginning, is validating myself as a financial professional, as a young financial professional, and just creating that industry authority. Which, for that to kind of have happened, I just have to start speaking more. I have to start just showcasing my knowledge in different ways, which led to me gaining recognition in publications like Forbes, Cranes, Business Insider, etc. And of course, like, when people would Google you, now they see all these big names behind you, they can't question you anymore. But that was a big barrier. Getting people to actually trust not just what I was saying, but the work that I could do was a really big barrier. Then the second thing is, again, coming out of my environment and not having examples of just, people who were gaining success in entrepreneurship. That definitely was something that I had to get over. I had to find myself, maybe I couldn't afford a mentor at the time or a coach. It was, let me go on YouTube and watch videos of other successful entrepreneurs. Let me go ahead and read a book about how to solve big business problems. So that was another barrier that I had to kind of jump over, was just allow myself to go to the next level without much guidance. Because, some people are fortunate to have just good examples and good people to just, provide support and help for them along their journeys. When you come from communities like mine, again, I am working to be that person. So there's not a lot of people that came from where I came from that also are offering that helping hands to help people like myself build up. So that was hard. Jumping into entrepreneurship, I don't know what I'm doing. No one teaches you how to effectively write a real business plan. Even though I'm an accountant and I know numbers, no one teaches you how to organize a team. No one teaches you how to build corporate culture. No one teaches you how to, make sure that your clients are happy and successful in your endeavors. So that was a lot of what I had to overcome as well, is just stepping into the new without a lot of guidance. But of course, all of those things just inspire me to just make better products and services for other entrepreneurs so that they don't have to go through what I went through.
Thank you for being transparent about that. Let's talk about entrepreneurship. When you first launched Fola Financial, what doubt did you have to face down?
So interestingly, when I first started, I had no doubts. When I was young, I was always just so brave. So I didn't have any fear in the beginning. It was more so of, okay, like, what direction do I take? So I hit the ground beyond running. When I started Fola, I didn't have any fear. I was willing to take risks. I was willing to be outside, networking myself, speaking at different places, going to networking events, and hey, Fola, everywhere that I went. I was so just, again, young and fearless. Interestingly, in terms of my own personal journey, the fear came in the middle, actually. The fear came once, again, I started gaining publicity, I started gaining just more recognition. And then now it's like, okay, am I really this person that the world sees me as? And I started just internalizing it, like, oh my God, I don't really know what I'm doing, even though I never did. Before, I was just doing it fearlessly. And then again, the thoughts start kind of coming in your head, and I started doubting myself. I'm like, maybe I'm not equipped to run a team. Maybe I should just downsize and just focus on a couple of clients rather than trying to build this whole big empire. Maybe just all these thoughts. And it's just like, I'm like, where did they come from? I never had these thoughts in my head. So even if you are the most confident and brave person, like those intrusive thoughts can always be intrusive. And for me, that literally happened midway through my journey, which was just, 3-4 years ago. In that time, because I let those intrusive thoughts win a little bit, I started doubting myself, and it really reflected in the growth of my organization. Like in those 3 years, those was the lowest, revenue numbers that we've hit. It was the lowest profits that we hit. So for me, what it did do was open my eyes back to the importance of continuously investing in myself and my mental health and making sure that I know that I am that person, right? And a lot of it had to do with downsizing a bit to just create the space that I needed to keep a clear mind. Because again, when you are overwhelmed with deadlines, client requests, media requests, you have to scale, you have to make money, you have to make payroll, you have to take care of your family. You're a full-time entrepreneur. You're only 26 years old. What are you doing? It started to sink in me, and then literally everything around me started to sink. But again, for me, it was a lesson of the importance of pacing. Pacing, which I think we talked a lot about enough. In the beginning, I was running, running, running. So by the time everything built around me, I don't think that I had the proper stamina to keep up with what I built. So I had to take a step back and then create a new business environment around myself that allowed me to better pace. And here we are. So again, the fear for me came midway in the journey. When I was young, I was like, I'm doing whatever. I'm gonna have a really good support system. Definitely, a lot of it has to do with my mom. My mom, if I tell her that I'm gonna go to the moon tomorrow, she's gonna be like, okay, what you need to get there? You gonna do it. So because of her, because of my dad, I was always fearless. Like I have really great parents that I'm very grateful for. But because I was fearless in the beginning doesn't mean that I was always fearless. Again, sometimes fear can creep up anytime in our journey. And even though I feel like I'm back to being fearless now, who knows what will happen in a couple of years? Life is all of, an experience of feeling. And even if we're the most successful human beings, none of us are, none of us can just avoid the naturalness of being a human and experiencing feelings in their moments. So.
Yeah, you're right. 1 minute you're in the sky, the next minute some situation can happen. You have to fix the situation. The thing is, it always happens. So it's just like you said. You talked about pacing. You spoke about self-doubt. Often we are humans, so sometimes we get to that point where we start doubting ourselves, and we're like, "Am I sure? Are you sure I really deserve to be here?" Sometimes it happens. No matter it happens to almost everyone. No matter how they have all the confidence. Sometimes it just happens like that. The point you made was brilliant. So now, if I was gonna ask, you spoke about leadership. You talked about your team. So what were some early lessons? Because I know all entrepreneurs or leaders have gone through this. So what were some early lessons in leadership that you had to learn the hard way as an entrepreneur?
Yes, for sure. So for me, I'm just naturally a very friendly person. I want to help everyone. To the point where, again, without proper direction, you don't know like what is required of you as leader. I had to learn early on that as a CEO, as a leader of your organization, you do have to develop a persona that may be separate from the persona that you show your friends and family, which may be separate from the persona that you show your partner or your romantic. You are going to be different people. The persona that you show up to be for your kids is going to be different. So when I am in CEO mode, I have to make sure that I am properly assuming that persona. What does that mean? That is someone who, yes, is nice and kind, but also is someone who expects conversations to end with action items, right? When you have friendships, you can have conversations and it can just go on about any topic. But to be a leader, my job is to make sure that projects are being completed, that clients are being satisfied, that our staff are being paid on time, right? So it required me to adapt more traits that were a lot more strict on making sure that we were results oriented, right? So it changed the way I conversed. It changed the way I set expectations. Because in the beginning, like again, you can grow organization of people who feel like your friends, but they also are going to treat your business as if it's something that they're just doing for you as a friend. And you don't want that. They start, well, I'll just submit it tomorrow. Oh, I'll just submit it next week, especially because most of the people who work with us are contractors and they can work in their own time because that's the relationship. For the betterment of the organization and our clients, I have to kind of stop having such a laxed environment. Now our new culture is, it's still the same family oriented environment, but the family understands the family's business at this point in the stage of my business. They understand that we're here for a bigger purpose that's bigger than myself and all of us, right? We're here with a common goal to help our people become a lot more empowered and to gain financial freedom and economic stability. So now, the leadership is more so about just making sure that everyone who is here is aligned with our core values, because that also just takes a lot of the work and pressure of having to, be a micromanaging type of boss. I don't want those things. All I want is that you share our same passions, you are good at what you do, and you are going to respect the deadlines and deliverables that we have to submit to our clients and other various stakeholders, because if you don't play your part in our family business, the whole family is affected, right? So just kind of being a leader that more so brings that to everyone's attention weekly, or sometimes daily if we need versus being a lot more lax, because again, no one teaches you how to develop your own leadership style. Like, how I lead may be different from how someone else leads. This works with me. Can I be better? Of course. I'm always asking for feedback. So we do staff evaluations every quarter. And after I do it for them, I ask for feedback myself. And surprisingly, again, because we have such a family oriented culture, I do get good feedback. Sometimes they're like, hey, you said that you would train us on X, Y, and Z, but you never did. And I'm like, you know what? You got me. I forgot. But let me refocus and reprioritize, because ultimately what I learned through leadership is that you lead by example. Of course, there's days where, I may be slacking a little bit, etc. But as a leader, I don't even feel comfortable like calling out my staff for underperforming if I know that I didn't show up that day to the best of the capabilities that I could have. So it makes me reflect a lot in regards to how I'm presenting myself to make sure that I am, again, leading. I want to be a person who's setting a good example. I want to be encouraging. I want to be family oriented, but I also want to be very results driven, to make sure that we are increasing our client satisfaction.
Oh, that's very powerful. And you are a true leader. Everything you do is powerful in that sense. All right. So, like, if you look at that, leadership is not just all about being in control. Do this, do that. You still make it as a family. You still, which is very great too. Because for me, most of the leadership I've seen, which is different from my own, I think mine is more like yours, which I've seen in corporate America, is all about control. Really, nobody cares. You're just a number. Just do what you're told to do, and nobody cares if you die tomorrow. If the person died tomorrow, they really don't care. They just employ somebody else. You're just a number. So most of the staff really work like, if they get opportunity to work somewhere else, they'll just leave the job. Really, they don't care too, because they know there's no family bond, or there's not really family bond in real sense, but there's no, my boss really don't care about me anyways. I'm just a number. And most staff don't really like feeling like they're just a number. Nobody want to feel like they're just a number, right? So it's very, very important. Most entrepreneurs take note of that, and probably, if you can actually incorporate what Sheneya is actually, a step toward leadership. If it's something you really want to incorporate to your business, maybe that would be great too. So now let's quickly talk about Fola Financial. You know, what prompted you to start Fola Financial?
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yeah.
also and I also was gonna ask, like, if you can also share a bit about the services you offer to your clients. Yeah, people would love to listen to that. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so What inspired me to start Fola, I was actually working at a Big Four accounting firm. And again, I just got my CPA license. And I actually was at the airport one day and I met this random person who literally is like still one of my business mentors today. And he just oversaw me studying for the CPA exam. And he was like, what are you studying for CPA? And I'm like, yeah. Then he's like, what are your plans to do once you get your CPA license? I'm like, work for a Big Four, work my way up, be one of the youngest partners, then exit and be like a controller or a CFO at a Fortune 500 company. The normal line that most accountants are provided with when you're in school. And then he was like, he's very much a visionary, and he was like, there's gonna be a growth in entrepreneurship for minorities and against people who never experienced wealth. It'll be a good time for you to actually use your corporate experience and your CPA license to provide services to that demographic. And again, this is me. I don't know. Like I was like 20. I'm like, okay, what is this guy talking about? I don't know. But that thought never left my head. So because that thought never left my head, once I finished the CPA, I was working in corporate. Now when I'm looking at the financial statements for these Fortune 500 companies and seeing how much they invest in their accounting, their finance, the importance of getting audited, the importance of staying compliant in terms of how you go from 0 to a million to 10 million to 100 million to $1 billion valuation, and how much accounting and finance plays a role in that, I understood what my purpose was. I'm like, okay, the thing is, America is powered mostly by small businesses, right? And there's so many, again, entrepreneurs that I meet that come from underrepresented communities. And they're great, they're talented, they have good products and services, but they always are stagnant in regards to how far they can really grow, and I understood what the solution was. It's because they lack having a proper understanding of accounting. Again, accounting is the language of business. So I started Fola Financial with the whole purpose of being able to translate the language of business to our clients and community. Accounting is not just for small business owners. You yourself need to be accounting for your own financial life. We call that budgeting and saving and credit and taxes, etc. That's just different versions of accounting. Accounting at a core is making sure that each transaction is accounted for, right? So we can do that in our personal lives, we can do that in business. So for me, we do provide tax services, bookkeeping services, financial forecasting. We help provide CPA letters to get our clients approved to gain funding to acquire more assets. We do payroll, other compliance, etc. And we do, again, all of these things because we want to help people organize their finances, manage their money so that they can get the funding or acquire that wealth that they desire to acquire so that they can live the life that they really want to live. Like I love asking my clients when they onboard with us, if all money aside and business aside, if you have your time back, what are you going to do with it? And they have such passionate projects that they want to work on. A lot of my clients are immigrants, and again, they're doing this business, but their goal is to be able to, build boarding schools in Haiti. Their goals are to, acquire land and build farms in Nigeria. Their goals are to, so I understood in terms of how we work here at Fola, we do accounting not just to take care of things for you so your taxes can get filed. Your accounting should be aligned with the future life that you want to live in your business, but also for yourself and what you want to leave behind as well. So how can accounting at a core lead to you effectively legacy planning for your financial future and for the generations to come as well?
Hey, winners, as we continue our journey together today, I want to share something truly special with you. Over the years, I've had the privilege of coaching countless business owners, entrepreneurs, leaders, guiding them to achieve breakthrough results and unlocking their full potential. So I'm opening up just 4 slots for my monthly business coaching program. That's right, 4 slots. After being fully booked for the past 3 years, if you're ready to elevate your business with personalized guidance, proven strategy, and a supportive community, I'm here to help you navigate challenges, refine your vision, and achieve your goals. So if you're committed to taking your business to the next level, I want to hear from you. Reach out to me directly at Jay jay@winnercirclewithj.com, and discuss how we can work together to build the future your business deserves. So don't wait. This is your moment. Join Winner Circle and let's embark on this transformative journey towards success together. And now let's dive back into today's episode. It's been a great day. So as we go to the second phase of the show, what's the missing? What was missing in traditional financial education that make you say you have to build Fola Edu?
Yes. So Fola EDU is all about allowing expertise to empower your earnings, right? Our core flagship offering is the Tax Essential Learning Program, TELP for short, which is an IRS-approved continuing education course to help individuals learn how to understand how to prepare 1040 tax returns from start to finish. It's really creative because I have another mentor that I paid for this time, right? And when I was growing my business, I had problems with staffing. Like, it's not really easy to find staff for an accounting firm, especially because CPAs and EAs are very expensive. But when you're growing your business, you can't afford a $100K salary right off the bat. So she was like, rather than trying to find someone, why don't you train and develop them and charge them? And I was like, oh, she's onto something. And she was. So in 2019, we started Fola EDU. And from there, we trained over 300 professionals how to understand and prepare 1040 tax returns. Some of them start their own businesses right away. Some of them have their own businesses and they just take it so that they can learn more. Some of them take the course so they can work with us. And honestly, it has worked. We've literally grown our staff. Everyone who is a staff member here at Fola has taken our training and development programs. It also helps power our quality assurance promise that we keep to our clients as well, because they know that everyone that they're working with has came through our IRS-certified training programs. The reason why we created our own program is because what other programs lack is the actual implications of practicality, right? So traditionally, taxes are taught mostly based on theory, right? Where, okay, you're learning tax law and you're theorizing how it'll be applicable in practice. Well, because I actually have a practice, a part of our training program is for them to go through real life scenarios. So of course we create mock returns based upon real client scenarios. So they're not just practicing textbook stuff, even though I did write my own textbook and it's like 300 pages. So they do get a textbook, but what our program really focuses on is making sure that they're confident to actually perform the service. So we do mock return preparation, we do mock interviews, we have some of our past clients come on and volunteer to be their preparer, and they also get experience working with our professional tax software, and we also developed our own CRM system for them to work with as well. So they literally get the whole shebang. You get the theory, you get understanding your tax law, but you also get to understand how to put it into effect. So our course is 8 weeks long. It is very popular, very sought after. We have a waiting list. People emailed us yesterday asking about when we're going to start the next course. Because everyone who leaves our course literally says that they left knowing that they can do the thing. It's the confidence that we instill in them through actually giving them practice that makes our program different. Because yes, we do believe that, that is our goal. We don't want you just to learn things, we want you to learn and be able to do. So that is why we started Fola EDU. That's our flagship program. We are adding a couple more programs this year. Accounting analysis being one of them, which goes beyond bookkeeping in terms of how you explain numbers to your clients. So that is why we started Fola EDU.
A real wow, that's powerful. That's a strong thing in there. How about FOLAFi? I know you spoke to me
Technology.
about that of the camera. You spoke to me about that. Why don't you share it with some of our listeners? So probably if we have somebody who would love to sign up on that.
Yeah, so FOLAFi Inc, Fola Tech for short, is, well, I don't know for short or for longer. What our goal is, and again, understanding the needs of individuals and small businesses. Service providers can add so much value. However, not everyone could afford, $300 an hour to speak to a CPA, or, they may not be able to afford that. So my goal of being able to provide financial solutions to anyone, regardless of their background, their income levels, how do I close that gap and make sure that we can service everyone? It is technology. It allows for us to further digest our offerings and allow people to create custom solutions on their own. So our MVP, our first product is called Fola Suite. In Fola Suite, you can gain access to financial solutions. So when you create an account with Fola Suite, we actually have like an AI agent that is currently being built to kind of survey your financial profile. Like, what are you coming to the suite for? Are you coming to learn how to make money, save money, or just improve your quality of life in any other area, right? So once you select that, then it just kind of starts asking you a little bit more questions, and it routes you to the solutions that we provide at Fola. So again, and it's also based upon your budget. So if you want help with accounting, for example, but you may not have, $60 a month to afford QuickBooks or $200 a month to afford us, right away, we have a free accounting tool that you will be provided with in Fola Suite, where you can just download your CSV statements, upload your information to Fola Suite, and then we actually have an AI agent that is trained to categorize your transactions for you, right? You can also do invoicing right through Fola Suite if you don't want to have such a sophisticated system of invoicing, but you as an entrepreneur should have a way of collecting your coins, right? And we also are using AI to help you organize your business compliance. So many entrepreneurs start businesses and several. I mean, obviously me, I have like 5 or 6, right? But then it's easy to get behind on filing deadlines, sales tax deadlines, employer tax deadlines. So we've created an AI agent to also help you organize that and send you reminders so that you don't miss those deadlines and be hit with hefty penalties and interest, right? So that is a part of our business suite. Then we have Fola Life, which is our personal suite, which we do use AI to help dissect your personal financial goals, whether it's to buy a home or earn extra income, on the side through a side hustle, or it's to learn how to invest. The AI helps to kind of go through your quantitative and qualitative information, your risk appetite, and help you figure out what will work best for you. The reason why we created Fola Suite, again, is to be that place where you can go and build wealth on your own in a way that's custom to you. Because it's easy to scroll on social media and see, start a stock portfolio, make X amount of dollars overnight. That may be how somebody made their wealth, but it may not be the way that is right for you to build wealth for yourself. We are all different and unique in our beings. So Fola AI, that's our bot that we're building, is learning our clients, learning their situations, obviously using open data sources as well. But we're looking to train our model to be that financial companion that you need to build wealth in a way that's custom and personal to you. That is what we're building with Fola AI. So just again, we want everyone to feel like they have a financial companion in their pocket. Just like you can go and say like, "Hey Siri, can you help me with X, Y, and Z?" It's gonna be, "Hey Siri, can you ask Fola to update my expense report? I need to budget for a vacation that's coming up," right? I want financial organization and management to be such a seamless part of your life. So again, you can just focus on living your best life.
Nah, that's true. Focus on living your best life.
Yes.
Yes. Now, how is it different from the usual financial management tools out there?
So the usual financial tools out there are all like assume a one size fit all model. Like they present a solution that is tailored for a specific audience. What we're creating is something that's going to be dynamic. It's going to be dynamic, and I'm so excited for it because like dynamic meaning that its effectiveness will be the same across borders, right? So the same way it can help somebody here in New York build wealth in a way that's specific to this environment, understanding our business laws, our common industries, our analysis, our industry ratios, etc. It would be as effective if someone in Nigeria downloads our app as well and wants to build wealth in there environment. Microeconomics, again, concepts that if you don't go to business school, you don't learn. But everyone should understand these things. Now, do you need to take a crash course? Not really if you have an AI companion like Fola, just kind of helping you guide and navigate. And of course, educating you and showing you resources and tools that you can use along the way to make sure that you are empowered when you're even interacting with Fola AI or some of Fola financial staff as well.
All right, thank you so much. We're talking about education or professional program. I know about the IRS-certified tax essential learning program.
Mhm.
Should I call it TELP?
Yes, TELP.
Top, right? Why is this so important for future tax professionals?
It is so important because tax law is always changing. I mean, we're currently facing a new legislation right now. You know, we are in Trump's regime, and I'm sure you guys have heard of the big, beautiful bill that is being passed between Congress and Senate, and everyone has their own opinions on it. It sounds great in terms of it being a theory until it's applied. Once it's applied, who you go to get interpretation? If you are a small business owner or individual, you need to be able to rely on your accountants. And this is why I'm very proud of the TELP program, because we are always ahead of the industry in regards to making sure that our students and of course our staff at Fola are equipped with the most up-to-date tax law, but not just knowing it again in theory, but understanding how it's going to impact our clients and community so that we can always be ahead of being resources, because that's what happens in terms of while there's such a racial wealth gap. Our racial wealth gap is also attributed to the fact that there's such a large knowledge gap when it comes to finance. And as we evolve in business globally, it just becomes more complex. So your average person that didn't even know how to budget and save and credit, 10 years ago, now they have to try to build wealth in this new environment with new tax laws. There's also AI, there's blockchain, there's Bitcoin. They can be very overwhelmed. So the TELP program is created to help equip financial professionals with the tools that they need to be better resources to their clients and community as well.
All right, thank you so much for that. Now, I know you're leading I know more than 3, right? 4, right? I know you have the foundation, you have the financial, you have the FOLAFi, you have the Fola Edu, 4 of them. How do you keep the vision focused while you're still building in so many directions?
Because let's add the fact that I'm also a new mom to the equation.
I'll put that too, like double, because that's
honestly, it's funny because like my team, I mean, they're so amazing, and again, I share everything with everyone. So the team at Fola EDU knows the team at Fola Financial, because again, it's even though they're separate entities, they're separate because paper-wise, it just makes more sense when you understand the economics of America. But in terms of the family, it's all one ecosystem, right? They all are related to each other in some way, shape, or form. And my team always asks me the same thing too, like, how are you doing all of this stuff? And you also have your baby. And for me, it's easy to keep going because, again, my eye is on the vision. It's the vision of being able to impact millions of lives across the world and being a trusted, safe place for everyone to build wealth. So, like, usually I think the biggest thing, again, in leadership is learning how to delegate and then put other people in leadership positions. So last year, before I had my child, I invested invested a good chunk of money in paying for a business coach. And it wasn't just a coach for me, it was actually a coach to develop the people who I wanted to lead in my organization a lot more. So like it was important to make sure that, again, preparing to have my child, knowing that okay, I can't just be, working 16-hour days anymore. Okay, like who else can be appointed as leaders, and making sure that they feel comfortable to step up and be a leader. So I invested in that. So in regards to how things operate now, like for each entity, like yes, there's me in terms of being the CEO, but being the CEO just means that your job is to set the vision. Honestly, that's it. Everything else that you do as a CEO, you should not be doing. So I had to put systems in place and people in place to make sure that I just show up to give direction. That's it. And then, of course, I have time to just work on other things, but for the most part, it's just giving direction. That allows me to create a schedule to where, like, twice a week, I'll work on 2 of the businesses. So, say, for example, like Mondays, I'm focused on Fola Financial, just making sure that I set the task for the week straight with the team. Tuesdays and Thursdays, we're working on Fola EDU, making sure we're adding the content and getting ready to like set up the program for TELP. Wednesdays and Fridays, that's my days to set for Fola Tech, right? So that's when we're working on our next project milestones, making sure that we're getting feedback on our technology so we are better improving and thinking of new features to develop. And then Fola Foundation, really right now, since we just started that last year, I focused that, I would say, like maybe in Q3, I'll just spend time. Because the goal of the foundation is to give back. We use a lot of the proceeds from our for-profit businesses to fund the foundation, just like how McDonald's does around the McDonald's. We build these enterprises to make money, but of course, we're building it to also give back, which is where the foundation comes into place. We just don't donate. Our clients also, again, who love our services and support our larger vision, they also donate as well. So they get a tax deduction just by supporting the things that we do because they already love our brand and what we stand for. And then the goal is for every Q4, we put on a bunch of programs for the foundation. Right now, of course, as we grow in funding on the foundation, I would love to have somebody more in charge there. But that business is relatively new. So for now, we just do events and programming internationally, specifically in Q4. So we'll be in Nigeria again soon. I'm excited.
Welcome to Lagos. All right. So, are there any specific initiative you're really passionate about? Talking about Fola Foundation.
Yes. So with the foundation, our goal is to really help empower communities abroad, right? So again, we have our ways of helping people here in America as well. But really, from my experience, I see that even though we think that we're struggling here in America, like honestly, if you're making above 60K a year, six figure, you are on 1% of the whole world, right? If you are making it pretty okay in America. And then that just gives me so much perspective. Like, okay, if we're struggling to get here, then how are people in other countries managing to get by? And with the increase of doing business globally, I think it is a great time to invest in developing talent. So what Fola Foundation does is create training programs, provide apprenticeship opportunities, and we also do FOLAFi Inc, which we launched our first year last year in Lagos, Nigeria, and Abuja, where we taught over 180 professionals in person, accounting, business building basics, and that's not even including, I think, over 600 people we had attend online. But once they take the training, they learn also a little bit more about how they can work with us, and then they can apply to apprentice as well. And then we're able to connect them with job opportunities, right? So we invest in their training, their development, and then we help pair them with firms in the U.S. or in other countries that need qualified support and at a more affordable rate. But what's affordable for them is life-changing to someone that comes from areas where opportunities like that aren't readily available, especially being able to do it from the comfort of your home.
All right, thank you. What you're doing is great. Giving back to the community is one thing. As entrepreneurs, we need to do more, giving back from what we've gotten. It helps a lot. I understand the capitalism part of it, but sometimes you just need to just stretch that ham and actually help other people grow the best way we can. As we begin to round up, oh my God, we've spent over an hour, but it just felt like we just got started. I'm enjoying every bit of this. What's your top advice for young professionals trying to break into the financial world or the finance world?
Advice. Ask yourself, why are you doing it? Again, I'm trying to tell y'all, like, entrepreneurship is not for the weak, but it makes it so much easier when the reason why you're doing it is so strong, right? I clearly know that I want to make a difference in the world of how people view finances and making it assured that they can achieve what they want to achieve no matter where they come from and how much they make. They can start from anywhere and achieve what they want to. So I'll definitely say my advice is to really just do some self digging, and maybe your passion is similar to mine, but even in that, really diving into your story. Like, why, like, how is that going to make you feel achieving that thing? Why are you so passionate about achieving that thing? Who do you want to impact? If you keep that close, near and dear to your heart, it'll help you overcome the obstacles, the barriers, the doubts. It'll remind you that you are here for a greater purpose, and it's going to give you the fuel that you need to persevere.
Thank you for that. For someone looking to take charge of their financial education, what are some simple steps they can start with? Any resources you'd want to recommend?
Honestly, we have AI right now. So, like, have a great conversation with ChatGPT. Ask ChatGPT to ask you. So, pretend that I would say, like, hey, pretend you're my financial advisor. Ask me a series of questions that you need to understand my mental and actionable relationship that I have with money. Like, let the robot help you. Because I think the first step in understanding how to build anything is to get a great understanding of how secure your foundation is, right? And your foundation a lot has to do with the amount of education and knowledge that you have instilled in you and your current practices. So I would definitely assess first, and then you can develop, okay, here's my plan. Because maybe you need to learn more about what investing is, or maybe you need to learn more about how to do a business plan. So I would say the first step would be assessing. Then the second thing is to figure out where do you need to fill in your holes to make sure that you have at least a good solid foundation of understanding finances and economics and how business operates and run. And then from there, you start to set your goals and this can kind of build up in that direction.
So now looking ahead, what are your hopes and dreams for Fola Financial and FOLAFi, Fola Edu, Fola Foundation?
Foundation.
Over the next 5 to
Yes.
10 years, what are your
Over the next
dreams?
5 to 10 years, again, even though these entities are separate, on paper, again, they all are together as a part of the larger ecosystem. So the vision that I'm going to share just speaks on the ecosystem as a whole, right? Which is to build the world's most intelligent financial ecosystem that is powered by AI and human intelligence, right? To give people the tools, resources, and support that they need to build wealth from whatever they are starting off in their financial journey. That is my vision. It's to make achieving financial freedom a lot more inclusive, a lot more personal, and a lot more about you as a person so that we as a human race can get back to dealing with the things that are more important, which is how we socialize, how we, just experience magic with each other, right? I think, the world has distracted us to focus on money, 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 and paying bills, paying bills. And it's like, okay, most of the most beautiful creations in this world are related to just natural things like art and creativity. So my hopes is that we build this system to help people achieve freedom so they can do what they need to do to really fulfill what their true dreams are if money and business was aside.
Thank you so much for that clarity. I want to say thank you to everyone joining us live and also the people who are going to listen to this episode. I also want to say thank you to you for joining us in this episode of the Winner Circle podcast. Um,
Thank you for having me and for your amazing questions.
all right, you're welcome. And also I just want to say thank you for sharing your inspiring journey from the Bronx to the boardroom, and also for your unwavering commitment to empowering individuals through financial literacy and innovative solutions. I must say, my listeners can testify to that we've learned so much from you today. First of all, we learned the importance of education, the future of tax professionals with Fola Inc., and how technology is reshaping money management for everyone through the FOLAFi Incorporated. And also, I, I want to say a big thank you for uplifting the community with Fola Foundation. Like every of your entity, every of your business is actually taking care of every need of the financial. It's like an ecosystem that you're taking care of. I want to say thank you so much for that. It's truly motivating, and I want to say keep it up. And I am sure there are a lot of people who are looking up to you that would really love to learn from you and get motivated by you. As a woman of color making strides in finance, what message would you also want to share with women looking to break down barriers? I would love you to just do that before we just round up.
First, the message for women: be confident and go out there and do the thing that you want to do. Don't think that you have to do it in a way that males do it, because we are also unique in the way that we do things. And that's what makes us special, right? Women, we have like just great intuition, great motherly instincts. And rather than seeing that as a weakness, they say women are emotional, women are this, like I just learned how to use those perceived weaknesses as strengths. Being caring and being motherly is what my staff and clients feel, and they love that. Who doesn't love to be loved by their mother, right? So just to get into my woman, like literally like hone in on our superpowers. Like we have the power to just imprint the world of business in a way that hasn't been done before by being exactly who we are and what God created to be. So that is my advice there. And then how can you guys reach me? On Instagram at the People CPA at Fola Financial. I'm also on LinkedIn. You can just find me on my name, Sheneya Wilson. I don't think that there's much other Sheneya Wilsons out there on LinkedIn, so it should be easy to find me. And yeah.
All right, thank you so much. If you enjoyed this episode, just take a moment to subscribe. Also rate and leave us a review on all our podcast platforms, because your support helps us to continue to bring you the stories of remarkable individuals who are making a difference. Also, stay connected with us on social media and check out our website for more resource and updates. www.winnercirclewithj.com. You know where it is, so I don't have to say much. Until next time, remember that the path to success is a journey best traveled together. So keep striving, keep learning, and as always, make your mark in the winner circle and stay in the winner circle. See you some other times. Hello, listeners. I want to take a quick moment to share an incredible opportunity for anyone looking to take their businesses to the next level. So if you're feeling stuck or overwhelmed by the challenges of running a business, most businesses need help right now to navigate out of all this mess, all this hula baloo. So I'm going to recommend you to check out Point of View Consulting. They are based in New York City, and they specialize in offering expert guidance tailored specifically to your needs. One of the things I like about them is their team. They have a lot of team members, and they're dedicated to helping businesses of all sizes, whether you're small, whether you're medium, whether you're large. They will help you identify your strength and weakness. They will also develop effective strategies. For my listeners, or for the listeners of the Winner Circle podcast, you can get 30% off your first consultation by using the code Winner Circle Podcast when you sign up. So whether you're a startup or you're an established company, Point of View Consulting, they offer personalized services that can help you align your objective with practical solutions. So if you're ready to unlock your business potential, you need to visit www.pointofviewconsultingimc.com and use the code Winner Circle Podcast for your special discount. So don't miss out on this chance to work with the industry expert who can provide the support you need to strive. So I'm just going to say it again. Go to www.pointofviewconsultingimc.com. When you get there, use the code Winner Circle Podcast. When you contact them, tell them Jay from Winner Circle Podcast sent you, and use the code Winner Circle Podcast for 30% off your first consultation. So take this step towards a success today. All right, see you next time.